So for all my football fans out there, y'all already know what happened to Aaron Rodgers to kick off the season. If you're not a football fan, the Jets were playing Monday Night Football against the Bills, and Aaron Rodgers got hurt on the first drive, and pretty much the Jet season went up in flames. They got Zach Wilson in as their backup quarterback. The season has already been pathetic if you're a New York Jets fan, and it seemingly is getting worse. They need a quarterback. So how about J.Cole, a friend of Colin Kaepernick, going online and posting a letter that apparently Colin Kaepernick recently writ to the New York Jets, pretty much begging them to be a part of their practice squad. So here's what J. Cole said about posting the letter. He said, I asked Colin Kaepernick if I could share this letter to the world. He was reluctant. My argument was that I believe the people in all organizations should know the truth about how hard he works and how much he still wants to play and always has. And in the end, he agreed to let me. So here's a little bit of what Colin Kaepernick said to the Jets. I'm not going to read all of this. He said, Jets, I hope y'all find this in great spirits. Despite the less than ideal start to a big season, I'm wishing you, your staff, and the players a great game this weekend as you try to bounce back. In response to the loss of Aaron Rodgers, I know the aspirations of the season were and still are to win a championship. And as of right now, Zach Wilson is charged with that task, and I wish him and the rest of the team the best moving forward. However, I know there are currently some depth issues at that position, and I've heard the backup spot is likely to be filled by a veteran quarterback. As much as I would love that opportunity to fill that spot, I'm writing you in hopes that you can imagine a much different approach with me. I would be honored and extremely grateful for the opportunity to come in and lead the practice squad. I would do this with the sole mission of getting your defense ready each week. If I were able to fill this role for the team, I believe this allows a multitude of things. And then he kind of gets into what he would do for the Jets in that role. That is from Colin Kaepernick, written to the Jets general manager, Joe Douglas and company. So Charlamagne of the Breakfast Club heard the letter that I just read to you guys from Colin Kaepernick to the Jets, and he doesn't like it one bit. Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club said, I wish that letter was never written. That letter was tragically sad and downright pathetic. Colin Kaepernick has let his setback become his identity, and I hate that for him. It pains to see that man still begging to be in a league that he called racist and compared to a plantation, and I hate that he can never speak for himself. He always got somebody else speaking for him or putting out his message for him. That's so whack to me. I wish Colin the best in his endeavors, but just begging these same people you call racist for an opportunity is pitiful. That's from Charlamagne. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts. I will say this. I met Colin Kaepernick about 5 or 6 years ago. I don't do the whole, can I get a pic with you, bruh, just to do it. Like for me, I hate doing it. Like my wife, who kind of work, when I'm out with my wife at like an event or something like that, a function, she kind of works as like my manager. It's not like, you know, she's like paid or anything like that for me to be a manager. But me being the best version of me is in her best interest, obviously, since we are a dynamic duo. So when we're out and about and wifey sees a business opportunity, she's like, go for it. So she kind of gets mad at me that I don't just go out and ask anybody that we're around for a pic because it could be good for business. I don't really like doing that. For me, if we did an interview, obviously I want to pick. If we talking, if you gave me some game, obviously I want to pick. But I usually don't just walk up to people and be like, yo, can I get a pic? Because, you know, it gets kind of weird sometimes. I saw Colin Kaepernick, and I knew he wasn't doing any interviews at, I think it was at like a Quavo Honcho Day. I went up to the brother and asked him for a picture. And the reason why I brought that up is because I thought what Colin Kaepernick did initially was so dope and was so courageous. I just feel like this man's name is going to be in the history book somewhere. And for me, that man putting his livelihood on the line, saying, I can't stand with this flag right now. What he did out the gate, I just thought was so courageous, because as y'all see, he literally put his career on the line. So let me just start by saying I have the ultimate respect for what Colin Kaepernick initially did. Now, since then, I've kind of been confused by Cap. I'm kind of with Charlamagne. I'm not going to use the word pathetic, but I'm definitely left with question marks of like, yo, bro, Cap, don't you realize you sued the league and won an undisclosed amount for what you call to be pretty much keeping you out of the league without saying that we're keeping you out of the league? Right, like you pretty much alluded to collusion and you won. But every 3 years, I feel like we get this this Colin Kaepernick rumbling. You know, we're like 6 years, 7 years removed since Cap been in the league in 2017. And every 3 years, he comes out of the woodworks and he puts a message out through somebody. This time it happened to be J.Cole. And like Charlamagne said, we kind of never really hear Cap talk. And the one time we did hear him speak publicly was after, remember, he did that he did that open camp. He did that open practice for any team out there that wanted to see him play. He was pissed. But I feel like he was so pissed and frustrated by how everything played out. But I feel like the brothers got to want to talk more, right? He literally had his career taken from him because he took a stand by kneeling. You see what I did there? I just don't think the correct mechanisms is to put a message out through J. Cole or your wifey Nessa. You know, shout out to her. I don't know. I'm just looking at, I think Cap lives in the New York area, and I'm just looking at how things are played out. I just feel like he found an opportunity to try to get on a practice squad with no plans on ever trying to be the starting quarterback. But it feels like Colin Kaepernick was just kind of like, yo, I see an opportunity. It makes sense since I live in the area. If they tell me no, all I'm going to do is say, see, they still colluding against me. But Cap did come out and call the NFL racist and colluded against them. I don't understand why you want to be a part of it. That is confusing to me. I won't call it pathetic, because if a man has been in love with something his whole life, I won't call it pathetic. I'll give a little leeway with that. I could see a world where I had a position that was my dream job and I didn't get it initially. Then I get it 10 years down the line. And then I walk back some comments that I made about said company or organization, right? I can see that. I ain't gonna call the man pathetic or pitiful like Charlamagne did, but I'm definitely like, that don't make sense to me. You called something racist. You called you pretty much a plantation, and you still want to be a part of it, even if they gave you the bag? They gave you the bag admitting that we were kind of racist, and you still want to go back to it? What? That makes sense to me. Somebody got to make that make sense to me. I got love for Cap, but I'd be lying to y'all if I'm kind of like, I'm just kind of scratching my head at that one. Time, love, and support. I would love to hear you guys on this one. It does not appear that the New York Jets are going to give Colin Kaepernick that opportunity. As a matter of fact, they went and picked Trevor Siemian up off the street, like literally, and gave him an opportunity to be one of their backups here. Time, love, support is what your boy would never take for granted. I'm out.
I want to salute you, homie, you know, for building your own thing and doing your own thing.
Why build theirs when I believe I can build my own?
You've already done it, or I wouldn't be here.
I'm already the only elite sports and music journalist in the game today. My goal is simple: to be the best there's ever been. So please don't go. Make sure you subscribe and follow the journey. It truly means everything to me. I tell stories. I talk music. I cover sports. I am culture. I am Pharaoh.